Hello everyone, I'm Jack Kelly,
And I'm Brady Volan.
reporting for the Lobby Observer.
Today I was able to interview Will Gravel. Will is a junior on the varsity hockey team. Will was able to answer a few of my questions about his hockey season during the COVID-19 pandemic. Thanks, Jack. Will, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good, Brady. Thank you for having me. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing great. No problem. Thank you for coming. So my first question, how has the season gone so far?
So the season this year isn't going as we hoped, but if there's really nothing much we can do other than focusing on these last couple of games we have to play, and all these games are winnable. So I believe we can win out of the season.
That sounds good. I wish the best for you.
Thank you.
Obviously, this season's taking place during the coronavirus pandemic. What's it like playing in the stadium without any fans? I know normally the barn's pretty packed. What is it like without any fans?
It's actually a lot different without fans. Like the whole environment's changed. Like usually, like when there's fans there after a big hit or a goal, or even when your team needs a boost, the fans are there to cheer you up and get you back in the mindset to play. But it's a lot different because there's just no noise, so you hear everything, like all the trash talk, everything. You just hear it. And they do what's a little funny fact? They play like fake crowd cheering during the game. It's pretty weird, yeah.
Oh wow. So other than the empty stadiums, how else has the pandemic affected your team?
It's affected our team chemistry a lot because usually in prior years we could go to the rink an hour and a half early to stretch out and get ready for the game. But this year we have to come to the rink dressed with our full equipment on and just tie your skates 15 minutes before the game. So it's a lot different because you have to come ready, you have to stretch at home. And another reason our chemistry has kind of been tainted is that usually we can do team workouts and team bonding activities. Last year we did team football, but this year we can't do any of that because of COVID. So we all just kind of had to come in knowing each other from last year.
That sounds really, really tough. Well, definitely I'm hoping the best for you the rest of the way through. Thank you so much for joining me today. Back to you, Jack. Thank you again to Will for answering your questions.
Another team having a successful season is the varsity boys basketball team. Reporter Matthew Willer interviewed two varsity starters, Ethan Steinberg and Tabish Hussein.
What has been the highlight of the season this far?
I think the highlight of the year so far has been the 2-game stretch between Marlboro and then what was the game after that? The first Clinton game? Clinton game and Marlboro. That stretch was definitely where we were at our peak. Everyone on the court was playing great and everyone was on the court. Me and Tabish were out for a lot of those fourth quarters. And as guys on White Squad, we love when that happens. We want the bench to get in as much as possible and get points and get experience in those big games, because in the games that are close, they don't really get that time. So I think that 2-game stretch was definitely the highlight of the season so far.
I think playing with Ethan and all the kids in my grade now, I missed out on that the first 2 years, but being able to play with them this year, being able to compete, with Alika, Soham, Ethan, Sammy, and all of them, Fitz, it's just been really fun this year.
So what do you hope to accomplish, John, for the rest of the season?
The rest of the year we're just trying to close out strong. The main thing is, seniors are done after this, but half the squad aren't seniors. So half the squad, their senior year starts next week, which is huge for them. Basketball is one of those cool sports where it ends halfway through the year, so you're kind of the older kids for your sport for a good chunk of the school year. And they'll all get to experience that, because I'm sure as COVID gets better, there'll be more and more stuff that they're able to do. So these next 3 games are really about them getting on the court and them getting experience, and also the seniors getting to go out with a bang.
Yeah, just like Ethan said, finishing strong, and especially setting the tone for next year. For me and the other kids in my grade, as we're going to be rising seniors, we're going to be leading the program, and we definitely want to start that off on the right foot.
Yeah, and lastly, what was it like being nominated for Player of the Week, both of you, this year?
That was really cool. Me and Tabish go way back since middle school days when I was in 8th grade, he was in 7th. So we've been teammates through school basketball for a long time now, and it's great for him and I to be competing at the highest level we can together.
Funny thing is, I actually was just searching around the internet and I found that, and I texted Ethan, and we just tried compiling as many votes as we could. And when we're out there on the court, just playing our normal game, just the way we play basketball, it's most definitely not going to go unnoticed, and that's just how it is. And that's why we were nominated for Player of the Week. So.
All right, thank you, and back to you guys.
Thank you again, Ethan and Tabish, and good luck with the rest of your season.
Matt was also able to interview assistant coach Semino for a different perspective on the season.
What have been some of the major differences this year on the coaching side due to the pandemic?
Oh, it's been a huge adjustment. I mean, just getting used to not having Coach Brady. Coach Brady's one of the guys that we all lean on as far as, things he sees during the games. The benches are different. We got guys, like we go to some places and you got stands behind you, so you'll look back and you'll go to talk to a player and he's 6 rows back in the stands. That's one of the advantages I think about being at home. I think we've done a really good job here, to set it up like you see in the NBA games where it's stacked behind. But yeah, there's been some adjustments with that. You got to put the hand sanitizer on every time they're going in and going out. But as far as a basketball standpoint, I don't think it's really been all that much. We don't have the jump ball, so it's a little bit football-like where we do the coin toss, and then we get to see who has the ball to start the game. We don't do the underneath the basket taking the ball out either, but we're just playing basketball. So I think the biggest adjustment for us is just getting used to playing with the masks. For the coaches, it's just understanding when to give these guys breaks and stuff, because it's the oxygen level sometimes can get a little down with the masks and everything like that. So it's just managing all that at the same time. It hasn't been that bad, to be honest with you. I think the hardest part has just been just a little bit of a fear of somebody getting sick. But other than that, it's been great.
Do you feel the team has lived up to you and the other coaches' expectations this season?
I think they've exceeded, to be honest with you. If you think about the situation, they couldn't really play over the summertime. They couldn't really do what basketball players play. They play year-round to get better for their sport, and that's just how basketball players, that's how every athlete does it, but especially basketball, it's a year-round sport as far as just playing. And when you miss as much time as they did at a competitive level, like the summer leagues and things like that, it can tend to take away from what the product on the court's going to look like during the varsity team's season. But I don't think it's really done that much to us. I think defensively we've been excellent. We've been one of the better rebounding defensive teams in the pod so far. Offensively, it was a little bit of a rough thing to start, but I think that's it for everybody. I think that's just basketball in general. You got a new team with new kids, you just got to learn how to gel together. So we figured it out, and yeah, they've exceeded my expectations.
And what has been your favorite game so far this season?
That would be the Maynard game. The Maynard game was impressive, and I know it was only the second game of the season, and it's a close tie with our win out in Neshoba. But the reason why the Maynard one stands out to me is because they came in here and they beat us pretty handily, and they had us pretty good in the first half also in their own place, and then we held them to 15 points in the second half, and we really came back. And that game, I think, launched us into what we've been so far this season, considering right now we're sitting at 6-3, and that's pretty good. If that game didn't go the way it did, who knows what this season would have turned into. I just think that game triggered our confidence and showed us that we can play with anybody, and not only play with anybody, we can lock teams down, and when we get hot, we can literally beat any team.
Thank you, and back to you guys.
Thank you to Coach Semino and all our other interviewees, and thank you to Matthew Willer for getting the inside scoop.
I'm Brady Boland.
And I'm Jack Kelly.
And we're signing off for the Lobby Observer.